Hi, my name is Julia Thompson, and I'm here to share a story, my story. It's not an easy one to tell, but maybe someone out there will understand what I went through. You see, I thought I had the perfect life. For 20 years, I was married to Michael, my high school sweetheart. We built a life together in Fairhope, Alabama. People always said we were the ideal couple. But as it turns out, things aren't always what they seem. Let me take you back to a Saturday morning, one of those bright, beautiful days when life feels simple and good. I was in the kitchen making coffee, humming along to an old country tune. Michael came in, looking sharp in his suit. He kissed my cheek and said, "I've got a client meeting in Mobile today. Don't wait up for lunch." I smiled and told him to have a good day, but something felt off. He'd been distant lately, distracted. I brushed it off, thinking maybe he was just stressed with work. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. Looking back, the signs were there. Michael was working longer hours, always on his phone, and he seemed restless. One evening, while folding laundry, I found a receipt in his suit pocket. It was from a fancy restaurant, the kind we used to go to for special occasions. The date on the receipt matched a night he told me he was working late. I remember asking him casually at dinner, "Who's been keeping you so busy at work?" He looked up from his plate, a bit startled, but then he chuckled. "You know how clients are. Always demanding." I smiled, pretending to believe him. But that seed of doubt had already been planted. A few weeks later, I found out the truth. Her name was Vanessa. Michael met her at a charity gala. She was younger, confident, and beautiful. They started with texts and coffee meetings, and before long, they were sneaking off to hotels and weekend getaways. I had no idea. For months, Michael carried on this secret life while I went about my days, completely clueless. It's hard to explain what it feels like to realize that the person you've loved and trusted for 20 years has been living a lie. It's like the ground beneath you shifts, and nothing feels solid anymore. One night, Michael fell asleep on the couch, and his phone buzzed with a message. I'd never been the type to snoop, but something inside me said to look. And there it was, a text from Vanessa. "I miss you already. Can't wait to see you again." I felt my heart drop. My hands were shaking as I scrolled through more messages. They'd been meeting for months. There were photos, too. Romantic dinners, weekend trips, all the things we used to do together. I sat there, stunned. I didn't know what to do. Should I confront him right then and there? Should I wait? I decided to call my best friend, Linda, the next morning. "Julia, you need proof," Linda said. "Hire a private investigator." I never thought I'd be the kind of woman who would do that, but I needed answers. Within a few weeks, the investigator gave me everything I needed. There were photos of Michael and Vanessa holding hands, entering hotels, even visiting a cabin an hour away from town. It hurt to see those pictures. The man I loved, the man I thought I knew, was with someone else. One Sunday morning, I decided it was time to confront him. I placed the photos on the dining table and waited. When Michael walked in, he froze. His face went pale, and he knew there was no way out. "How long?" I asked, my voice shaking. "Julia, it's not what it looks like," he stammered. "Don't lie to me, Michael." "How long?" He sat down, burying his face in his hands. "About 6 months, he finally said. 6 months? I repeated, feeling like I couldn't breathe. 20 years, Michael. We built a life together, and you threw it all away for 6 months? He didn't say anything. What could he say? The damage was done. The next few weeks were a blur of tears, anger, and endless questions. Michael moved out, and I filed for divorce. Our friends and neighbors were shocked. Everyone thought we were the perfect couple, but behind closed doors, everything had fallen apart. Michael tried to apologize. He even asked if we could try to fix things. But I couldn't go back. The trust was gone, and without trust, there's no marriage. I started to rebuild my life. I joined an art class, started volunteering at the local shelter, and even went on a few dates. It wasn't easy, but I learned that I'm stronger than I thought. Do I still think about Michael? Of course. You don't spend 20 years with someone and just forget them. But I've made peace with what happened. I realize now that our marriage wasn't perfect. We got comfortable, stopped making time for each other, and somewhere along the way, we lost the spark. Michael traded 20 years of love and stability for a fleeting affair. And in the end, he lost everything. As for me, I've found myself again. I've learned that life doesn't end when your marriage does. It's just a new chapter. And I'm ready to see where it takes me.